There are two paths we can take in this life. One is the external path, and the other is the internal path. The reward for finishing the external path is all the glory and the riches of the world, every material desire that you could ever imagine. That is what you will get. The problem is that we live in a temporary universe, so all of these things can never bring you lasting satisfaction. They are fundamentally empty. I'm not saying don't go and enjoy them. In fact, it is quite the opposite for me. But this is where the inward path comes along. Because as you go within, you begin to transcend the boundaries of space and time. Just look at your dreams. When you go to sleep, what happens to the boundaries of space and time? They begin to dissolve. The laws that we live in the waking state no longer apply here. And so in this eternal realm, that is where true lasting satisfaction is found. And this is why Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else will be added on to you." Because the eternal transcends the temporary. So you can have all of the material riches of the world and have nothing. But you can have all the spiritual riches from within and have nothing in the world, and you will still have everything. Because the eternal is what gave rise to the temporary. Inward in you and in all of us is the source of all creation. And so the reason that you can have all of the worldly things and still be miserable is because you have lost yourself. You have lost contact to the divine within you. That divine essence that we are is the source of all joy, of all peace and satisfaction. And what happens is that often we go through these very difficult and dark experiences out into the world that create a lot of suffering. And this forces us to go within. And what we find within is freedom from that suffering. I think about it sometimes that people just don't have access to this safety, this safe space within you that protects you from all experiences, from all things. And how much suffering it must be to live like I remember how I used to live. Always believing your thoughts, always believing everything that's happening around you, always feeding the negativity and the fear, living from this lower animalistic state of consciousness. How terrible that must be, which I guess is one of the reasons why I'm here, because if I can show you the path to finding the true riches, then I could be happy in knowing that I relieved some suffering in the world. Because how miserable it is to only believe that you are this person, that you are this identity that you've come to believe that you are. Such a small world, and because of this, we get cut off from the source of life. This is why many people who inherit their riches, they become depressed, they become problematic, because they have everything, but they have been cut off from their own soul. And so in the end, they have nothing. And so they are living in an illusion. On the surface, everything is wonderful. They have all the money in the world. They have all the status or power or any material things that you can think of. They have it all. And the people at the bottom, they're also reaffirming that, oh, look at them, they have everything. I wish I could be them. Why can't I be them? And so from all these different directions, they're getting the confirmation that, okay, I should be happy. I should be satisfied. But in reality, when the illusion falls down, what they have is nothing. It's all dust. Just because you can build the biggest sandcastle on the beach doesn't mean the tide's not going to come and wash it away with equally minimal amount of effort, no matter how big it is. But what has happened is that we have created this illusion in our minds, what people call the matrix or the construct. And so we become like in a bubble, cut off from the true source of life all around us. But within you, there is a wellspring of an infinite abundance of joy, of bliss and peace and happiness. That is the true riches of this life. Find those, and you will have everything in the world. You will be the richest person on the planet. And so to find these riches, all one has to do is do nothing. Imagine that. I promise you the infinite glory of all existence, and all you have to do is do nothing. And I'm not lying, and I'm not pulling your finger either. But there is a catch. Picture it like this. We have our body on this side, we have our mind in the middle, and we have the source of our life, that is consciousness, that is energy. This consciousness, it radiates bliss, love, joy, and peace. This is the inner riches, and this connects to the realm of the transcendent, to the eternal. But you see, the mind is focused outward toward the body and toward the physical reality. So all of our attention is focused on the temporary. And so no matter what we do, no matter what we experience, even if we get glimpses of happiness and peace and joy, they will never last. Because that is the tragedy of this world. It is the nature of reality. That is the way it was designed to be. So you have to take this mind that we all attach our identity to. We believe we're this mind controlling this body, and we're out into the world doing our things. And you have lost touch with the true infinite source of what you really are. And so you got to take the mind, and you got to stop looking outward, and you got to focus it back in on itself. You have to go within and begin this inner journey. Now, this journey is not an easy one, and you will be tested greatly. But you see, the reason why I said you have to do nothing is because you are already one with this. You were never the mind. The idea that we are separate is an illusion. What has happened is that our true nature, that is consciousness, that manifests as our awareness in reality, has been siphoned and taken by the mind. It has been built into a construct. So we live in the bubble of the mind and all of its contents. And so if the contents are bad, you will live a bad existence. And if the contents are good, you will live a good existence. Still temporary, but rather, when you begin to take your identification away from the mind, you stop feeding that construct. You stop giving power to the matrix. You stop living in illusion. You see, because we exist before the mind adds all of these things onto it. This was the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, that we are at one with the world. We are in peace and joy and bliss. But the moment we got a bit too smart for our own good, we get caught in the realm of duality, of good and evil, of light and darkness. Now we are cast into the world of illusion and unconsciousness. And the whole spiritual journey is to wake up from that. What we have been evolving toward for millions of years, since the beginning of time, all to wake up to the true nature of our divine essence. And so before I kind of give you an idea of how this journey will unfold, let us do a practice that will help you come to this realization. And that is what is called self-inquiry. In order to experience, you need two things. You need an object of experience, and you need a subject to experience that object. And so you can only be the subject of your experience, and you can never be the object. If there is no object, you cannot experience, because you are at one with yourself. There is nothing around. This is the nature of deep sleep, the experience of nothingness. And if there is an object but no subject, that is the riddle. Well, if a tree falls down and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? And the answer is no, because there is no ear. In order for sound to happen, there must be sound waves and an interpreter of those waves. Just the same as that if you have a teacher but no student, there is no teaching. And if you have a student but no teacher, there is also no teaching. The student and the teacher combine to create the teaching. The point of this is to establish yourself as the subject of experiences, which may just be self-evident, but I digress. And so you want to begin witnessing, being aware of all the things that you experience. You want to ask yourself the question, am I experiencing my body? Well, then my body must be the object of experience, and I am the subject. I am not my body. Can I experience the mind? Well, sometimes my mind is sharp, sometimes my mind is dull. Sometimes I have a lot of thoughts. Sometimes I'm more at ease and at peace. I can experience the mind, so I cannot be my mind. What about the personality? Things like the mind and the personality exist on this more subtle level, so it's a bit more tricky to really see. But your personality, you can experience your personality and how it's changed over the years. You can shape and construct your personality to have certain attributes. So you can experience your personality, and other people can experience your personality, but you are not your personality. Even the word persona means mask, and that is a lot of what we get caught in identifying with. So what else is there? And so you sit alone, and you try and find, who is this person that I believe I am? Who am I? You know you exist. You are here. But as what are you here? As what do you exist? Find the answer to this question. And so we come to the realization of our true nature through disidentifying with all that is not us. And when you sit alone in the dark and you close your eyes and you try and find that person you believe yourself to be, and you try and find your mind, you try and find your personality, but what is true? Find what is true. Find what is here now. Find what can never leave you. And the first hint is that what you will discover at more and more subtle levels, there is an inner spaciousness and an inner presence. These things are often merged as one or experienced as one. This is the doorway into the infinite. But like silence, when there is a lot of noise, we become distracted and do not hear the silence. The silence is always there. It's just our attention has been scattered and directed elsewhere. So too, this consciousness that we are, this awareness, is the silence in which all objects of experience arise and fall. We experience an infinite array of different things, changing scenes, and different objects of our experience. But we remain the same forever. This is the source of life. This is the source of all things, of all creation. What is transcendent above the entirety of existence. Although the ego and the mind will love this idea, you have the infinite power of God at the touch of your fingertips. If only you came to this realization. But don't fall for this trap on the journey, which leads us to how this journey unfolds. And that is, as we go through life, connecting deeper to this inner presence, becoming more and more aware of what we are not. There are very many things that will come to trigger us, because we still have many attachments. We still have these identities. They can't just be gotten rid of. They have to be experienced and let go of. And so things will come to trigger you. And when you are triggered, you are one with a kind of identity. Because when something threatens that identity, that is what the triggering process is. It is a response to a threat. So when you get triggered, what you can do is you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is where I'm attached. This is my opportunity to let go. I really am not that. I am caught in this identity, in this illusion. And so you return your focus to this inner presence, or you can return your attention to the present moment, which is the gateway to the eternal. This is how we develop our awareness, and this is how we rise to the highest states of consciousness. When contrasted with people who are living unconsciously, like animals, we're always reacting and chasing one thing to the next. We're having all of these thoughts, and we believe all the thoughts, and we're following the thoughts, and all of these stories that we get caught in. We follow all of our emotions that lead us in the wrong directions. When you come into your true state of being, you become more and more still. You become the eye of the storm, in which no experiences can really affect you all that much. And so you really do begin transcending the physical nature of reality. And there are many cases of spiritual saints defying the laws of the universe. We have no idea what we are capable of. The power that you have within you is infinite. Find this. Find your true nature.